Are you dealing with a legal issue you would love to resolve? There is help. Welcome to The Law Show Sacramento, brought to you by TravisBlackLaw.com. Join us to create the best path forward for you. Now, here's your host.
Hi, I'm your host, Kimberly Henry, and I'm here today with Travis Black from Travis Black Law. And today we'll be talking with Travis about Child Protective Services, the role and your rights and responsibilities. Now, before Travis joins us, just a reminder that if you have questions or require assistance, you can reach Travis at TravisBlackLaw.com. And you can join us on Facebook at Facebook.com/TravisBlackLawShow. Travis, thanks for being with us today.
Well, you're welcome.
It's a beautiful day. It looks like spring has finally arrived in North America.
Yes.
I'm very happy about that. And we're going to talk about something maybe a little more serious than the weather today. On your website, there's some recent news coverage and videos regarding a recent case that you've been working with dealing with Child Protective Services. Can you fill us in a little bit on what's going on there?
Well, just briefly, a young couple have a small infant who has a heart condition. They've been seeing a doctor on a regular basis, I believe once every 2 weeks, a cardiologist. The cardiologist wants to do surgery, however, wants to allow the child to grow a little bit, get a little bit older and stronger. Child developed the flu. The parents took him to the hospital, and the baby was in the hospital for about 3 days, and every day the child was getting better and better. Towards the end, the hospital started talking about surgery, heart surgery, and the parents became very uncomfortable because they had a cardiologist. They didn't like the hospital doctor, and they wanted a second opinion. Just quickly, they left that hospital and immediately went to another hospital for a second opinion. That doctor at the second hospital spoke with the first hospital doctor, and they discussed the case, and when it was all over with, the emergency room doctor at the second hospital cleared the baby to go home, understanding that the baby had a heart condition. Mm-hmm. The police showed up. They were sent there by the first hospital and Child Protective Services, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And the police spoke with the emergency room doctor and left and were satisfied. More than 24 hours later, the police showed up at the parents' home, forced the husband to the ground, took his keys, forced their way into the house, removed the child, took him back to the first hospital. That's when we got involved in the case, and there was a hearing, and the judge ultimately said that the parents could now stay with the child as long as they wanted to. Before, Child Protective Services held them to only 3 times a day during feeding. Mm. So now they could stay as long as they wanted, as a parent should be able to with a small child, and that parents could take the child to any hospital they wanted to, which they did. So now we are in the civil process of this.
Wow, that's a story that most of us as parents just find it hard to believe, because as a parent you figure that as long as you're loving and taking care of your child, that everything's good. So when it comes to parenting and what's going on in your children's lives, what legal rights and obligations does Child Protective Services have?
Well, Child Protective Services, sometimes known as CPS, their responsibility is to keep children safe, and they are governed by the Welfare and Institution Code, specifically the 300 section, which lays out different scenarios when they should become involved, such as if a parent became incarcerated or became ill and couldn't take care of the child, Child Protective Services could step in and assist. Or if the child had been harmed intentionally by the parents, or if the child needed immediate medical care, they could become involved. But when they do, they have to do an investigation. They can't do what we call a knee-jerk reaction, like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong, let's take the child, and then we'll figure it out later. No, they have to do a thorough investigation. Once they do that, they have a couple different ways they can go. One, they can go to the court and obtain a warrant to remove that child. Number two, if it's exigent circumstances, if there's an imminent threat that the child will die or become severely harmed, they can just take the child. But again, it's not a Gestapo-type reaction. It has to be a thorough, complete investigation where they hear all sides of the story and do their investigation.
And so that's really how it should work. But, of course, CPS is made up of human beings who all come to their own conclusions, so things like this can happen. What are the constitutional rights and obligations of parents when they're faced with a CPS investigation?
Well, the parents are kind of pushed into a corner, but they have the right. We have a United States Constitution that gives them the right of privacy to care and to raise their children as they see fit. But having said that, once Child Protective Services becomes involved, it's critical that the parents cooperate. If they don't, it just goes from bad to worse. So they should cooperate completely, but they should be asking questions. Why? Who is making this claim? Why are you doing what you're doing? What can we do to help you? And in this case that we just discussed, they should be able to provide the names and phone numbers of all the doctors and all the treaters involved. Oftentimes, the Child Protective Services will take the child. And at that time, you should be able to give the Child Protective Services the names and phone numbers of relatives or close friends that would be able to take care of that child until there can be a court hearing.
So it would be a good idea then for parents to kind of always have on hand that information in the event that something did occur so that you could get things together quickly.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
It is.
But like in the situation that we've discussed, it would help. But if you think about it, we all have the names and phone numbers of our family members in our cell phones.
Sure.
Close friends. Most of us have the phone numbers, and we know the names of our children's treating doctors. So it's not like this should be a difficult thing. But it is sad that once CPS comes knocking, that you have to jump through these hoops, especially in this case, and it was needless.
So it's got to be a very frightening and fearful time to have your children taken away from you. And outside of being cooperative with CPS and providing the information surrounding your child's treatment, what other immediate course of action can or should parents follow when being confronted in an investigation like this?
Well, first off, I would suggest that if anybody's listening to this and they're interested, if they go to my website, travisblacklaw.com, there is actually news footage on this case, and it shows how desperate the parents were. But going back to the second part of your question, what you should do is cooperate with CPS. You know, if you try to fight or argue, it just makes it worse. Once they make their mind up, you're not going to change their mind. But the next thing you should do, you should immediately contact an attorney who can help you in this matter, because there's certain things that Child Protective Services have to do in a certain time period. And this is where an attorney can help, because they can protect the parents, and more importantly, they can protect that child. As in this case, once we got involved in the case, we were able to have the judge hear all the facts that we had, not just CPS's facts. And the judge actually went and said, CPS, you can't do this. So, you know, that's what the parents should do. They should take immediate action and obtain the help of an attorney.
And there are attorneys that have experience in this type of case, such as yourself.
Well, yes, but sadly, there's only in this whole state of California, there's less than 10 attorneys that are knowledgeable in this area. That's my belief. And so you should definitely find an attorney that can help you in this area.
Absolutely. And Travis, I understand that you offer some consultations for folks who maybe think this might be on the horizon or in the midst of dealing with something like this. How do we get them connected with you for that consultation, and what does that consist of?
Well, the consultation, one of the things that we do in our office, consultations are always free. And sometimes a consultation can take several hours, but that's okay, because sometimes we're actually able to help people deal with their own problem, and they don't even need to hire us. But when it comes to Child Protective Services, they're going to need help. But they can either call our phone number, 916-962-2896, or they can go onto the website, travisblacklaw.com, and there is a section there where they can actually ask for help on the internet. One of the things, because of the Child Protective Services issues, one of the things our office does, they will immediately get this over to an attorney so we can talk to you. You're not going to be waiting around for an attorney to contact you. You will be contacted immediately.
Wonderful. Can you give that contact information one more time?
Sure. It's TravisBlackLaw.com or 916-962-2896.
Well, you've been very informative for us today. This is an area that most of us don't think about until it happens to us. So it's definitely good to know that there's folks like you out there that can help parents navigate when you're kind of blindsided with something that you thought you were perfectly safe from. So we appreciate the information. Is there anything else that we should know before we wrap up our show today?
Well, I can say that it feels like you're in a dark tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the news articles and you actually see this young couple, and they're in their late 20s, and they're just devastated. But there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and that's our goal, is to get you out of this situation as quickly as possible.
Well, thank you so much. Once again, you can find help and information about the topic of today at TravisBlackLaw.com, TravisBlackLaw.com. You can follow us also at Twitter at TravisBlackLaw, and you can join us on Facebook at Facebook.com/TravisBlackLawShow. So thank you so much again for the information today, and thanks for your time, Travis.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about The Law Show Sacramento and to get access to more great podcasts, visit TravisBlackLaw.com. That's www.TravisBlackLaw.com.